Well, good morning, everybody. Half asleep here reading some of the reports. This is Patricia and David. Good morning to you, Gulf Harbour Radio, from a very gloomy Gulf Harbour Radio. There's a tiny little bit of blue sky up in the north, but it is grey and dull here. Very, very light sou'wester, 7 knots, 16 degrees. That's the lowest we've had for a while, 16 degrees. But the barometer is 1021.2 and rising. I was just reading some of the reports that have come in. We've got Swiftsure way up there heading towards Margero. So if you can copy us again, good morning to you guys. And another adventure, good morning Frank, you should be able to hear us now on board another adventure. They are at 27 and 171 east with east southeasterlies, 12 knots, 40% cloud cover, or 1.5 metre swell, which sounds a lot less boisterous than Messatroy has got up there closing on Fiji. Not too far to go actually, a couple of days. 22 south and 176 east, and he's got 15 to 20 knots of east to east southeast winds, overcast and showers. That's not very wonderful, is it? But very good wind direction. So quite a few people are reporting in, testing out the system, and a very welcome back to Ron and Cheryl on Pilgrim. Foggy morning up there in Opua with people getting organised to get going. So I think quite a few people are doing that. There's still the folk that are on route to French Polynesia, so good morning to you guys out there. Sounds not too bad at all. All right, a busy weekend, I'm sure, for those that are getting ready, but others are in a bit more relaxed fashion, going in 2 or 3 weeks, probably around the Queen's birthday weekend time, which used to be anyway, in the old days. It used to be when people actually planned to leave that first weekend in June. I don't know why it's got earlier and earlier as the years have gone by, but it used to be that the Queen's birthday weekend here in New Zealand was the time of departure. The Queen, of course, has had her birthday with lots of celebrations about a couple of weeks ago. So, but we usually celebrate it in June, which is the last long weekend holiday before winter really sets in. Okay, we have a bit of news, of course. That's what we do because there's not too many people wanting to check in at this time. But I'll just do a pause in case there is anybody wanting anything. Anybody for Gulf Harbour Radio, please call. Oh, good morning, Craig. We've got you a lot better this morning. Whereabouts are you?
Good morning. We're about 241 from Port Vila. Our position is 2133 south, 16939 east, course 345 true, 7 to 9 knots of boat speed, winds from the southeast 15 to 20, a meter and a half of 12 from the southeast, 75% cloud cover, 107 on the bar, and all aboard.
Well, what a perfect report. I hope everybody heard that in case you ever want to check in with us. Absolutely faultless. Thank you for the good example. Well, David, of course, when you said 7 to 9, he said, wow, 241 miles to Port Vila. Conditions are southeast 15 to 20, 1.5 metre southeast swell, 75% cloud cover, 1017, and Il Sogno is ripping along 7 to 9 knots, and I've got the position accurate, 2133 and 16939 east. Boy, conditions are very good, surprisingly good on the radio, so I hope they maintain that. Mind you, your radio was always a pretty good one. Well, you'll be starting to smell the barn, so you've had a pretty good trip all in all, over.
An excellent trip. It's strange to have one with wind behind the beam the entire trip. Haven't turned on an engine, and we'll probably make it to about 6 days.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is good. I bet there's a few people listening that have started to go a little green with envy. Oh, that's good. All right.
Sure, 20 knots. tomorrow.
20 knots again tomorrow, says David beside me here. So
More out of the east side.
yeah, it'll be east, southeast. It'll be backing a little bit, but that's still absolutely perfect for you. So yeah, a bit of a record-breaking trip over.
Record-breaker is a good one. Unfortunately, we had a kite have a little issue. It's going to make an air trip back to New Zealand for a little fixing. Other than that, we're fine. Over.
We won't ask for the details of that. I can only imagine it might have been a little stressful. Okay, all right. Well, we'll move on. Thank you for that report. And is there anybody else? Oh, Tallulah Ruby, good morning to you. And I presume all is going well on Tallulah Ruby?
Yeah, we're having a wonderful sail up here with high position. 18 degrees 42 south, 16 degrees 33 east. Speed over the ground is 8 knots. Course over the ground 340 true. We've got southeast wind 16 knots, 1.5 meters away. And with that south cover, right over reading 1012 and steady. We have 56 miles to run.
Wow, just a little bit ahead of Il Sogno, so they'll be interested to know the wind there. So up a little bit further, 1842, 168.33. Boy, you're ripping along too, 8 knots. So southeast 16 with a 1.5 metre swell from the southeast, 10% cloud cover, 1012. We'll have to have a look at those barometers and see which one is the more accurate.
Where's his barometer?
1012. If you can have a look, because Craig reported 1017. Anyway, you're very close to Port Vila, so you'll be checking in with Yachting World in the not too distant future today. Okay, really good. David can look that up while I give you all, we'll clear with Tallulah Ruby and give you all a little bit of news to see, keep you up to date, those folk that are up there in the islands. If you are into cars, it is in fact this week the 70th anniversary, 70 anniversary of the first Land Rover, which is considered one of the iconic vehicles of all time. Now, it doesn't look very much the same as their current SUV, but there you have it, 70 years from the first Land Rover. And of interest, there was and I know this is sort of a bit pedantic, but the defence spending in the world, needless to say, well, they gave the order of the defence spending, and it is quite different to what you would expect. Obviously, the USA leads the bunch. In fact, it spends more than the next 7 combined at 610 billion, and then comes China with 228 billion. But then the third on the list is Saudi Arabia, followed by Russia. Then India. India is ahead of France, the UK, Japan, Germany, Italy, and Australia is down there at number 13, ahead of Canada. Quite an interesting list of who's spending what to protect us from whatever in the world. Now, a bit of scientific information. Oh, by the way, the Kilauea volcano, there's some spectacular pictures coming from that. It's spewing really, really thick lava down onto the roads near the Leilani estates. So there's some pretty spectacular photos. But this week, a group of scientists from about 23 countries are leaving here, New Zealand, to go to the Kermadec to drill into a volcano, one of these underwater volcanoes, called the Brothers. It's 1,200 meters below the sea level, and this Brothers volcano is about 3 times the size of White Island, our local one off Whakatane here. It's the Kermadec, for those that don't know, are just northeast of New Zealand. Anyway, they're going to drill 3 boreholes down into this Brothers volcano. The deepest will be about 800 meters down. And the aim of the exercise, I had to sort of search for this, was to see how metals move through the Earth's crust. and also they're going to look at life that can survive these temperatures. So it's going to be quite an interesting one. We hope that the seas are not going to be too bad. The seas around the Kermadec can be quite snotty because of these underwater volcanoes poking up. It doesn't allow for smooth water flow.
They could be blasted to the moon.
They could be
without the help of a
blasted,
ship.
yes, David reckons they could be blasted to the moon. I don't think I'd be poking a hole into a active volcano under the water. But anyway, that will be interesting to see what they come up with. And, well, finally, there might not be too many out there interested in the supercars, but it was a pretty exciting race yesterday, won by a Ford. Scott McLaughlin, followed by David Reynolds about 2/100ths of a second later. Then Lowndes, Courtney, Van Gisbergen, and Whincup. So that's your supercars, if anybody is interested in supercars. All right, we are now down to getting close to the news, well, not the news, the weather news, which is why we're actually here at Gold Harbour Radio. And we have a couple of reports in, clear and calm from Whangarei. Thank you, Eagles Wings. And we've got Heatwave are actually leaving this morning from down there in Picton. So that will be an interesting trip from them. It's always quite difficult getting from the South Island to and fro, actually, because you've got some rather different conditions around New Zealand. So we'll be interested to follow their trip. Whistler reporting in from Whistler reporting from Savu. 4 knots of southeast and calm up there with the occasional showers. Oh, it's not very wonderful up there, and I'm just looking over the shoulder. Passing showers. It doesn't look all that grim up there, so you're not too many more on here. Okay, all right, well, we're going to move, folks, to the weather now, as we usually do, halfway through this hour. And if you have any questions relating to that or want special areas that David is not covering at this point in time, because there's still a lot of people in New Zealand, then we'll handle those after the weather. Boy, Monday morning. Oh, look, it's our gloomy conditions have cleared now that I can see properly, and we have in fact got clear skies overhead with only the cloud. It's going to come and go. I see it's coming from the southwest, which is indeed where the wind direction is, coming and going. So, yeah, pretty good day here now. It's just going to be a little bit gloomy from time to time. All right, let's go to the weather. Here's David.
All right, good morning, everybody. Our 500 millibar analysis shows our westward leaning trough, upper level trough. You'll remember that westward leaning item that we had on Saturday. That's rotated a bit, so now it's leaning to the right, and it's just to the east of New Zealand. We've got a ridge that's lying in the Tasman, and another 500 shortwave that's in the bight of Australia. Now remember, we associate troughs with surface lows and upper ridges with surface highs. So that's the reason we look at those more or less to verify what we're seeing on the surface modeling. Now, the cold front over New Zealand that we had on Sunday, that has moved off, and I'm looking at satellite imagery right now. I would say the main part of it is roughly 30 south. So those of you that are underway and are anywhere, I would say between 28 south and maybe 32 south, are encountering the remnants of that front. Anyhow, that's on its way, and that's being pushed by the developing ridge that I just talked about. It's in the Tasman. Now, severe surface lows are evident, and they're passing to the south and the east of New Zealand. Actually, they're to the west as well. It's just a string of them that are moving from west to east. And they are pretty strong, but we don't have to worry about them marching up towards us. They're going to stay down there, but they will be sending up fronts from time to time. And there is a front now that's running up to 33 and the date line. Then it goes to 28 and 170 east, and that's the one I just described in the satellite imagery that I'm talking about. And it goes onward to Hervey Bay, and I can see it doing that quite easily on imagery this morning. By late tomorrow, a surface high is going to lie nearly over New Zealand, so Patricia will be able to do the old laundry, and that's fairly strong. It'll be about a 1030. It's about that ridge is building up to that strength almost now. So 1030. Now by late Wednesday, the high is going to move directly over New Zealand, directly over us. So that means people up in the islands are going to have fairly fresh winds due to this strong high. Now those leaving New Zealand today, and there's some, will have south to southwest winds, fairly light at around 15 knots, I would say, rather mellow swell, about a meter coming out of the southeast, and that's going to be prevailing for much of the day. Now those of you underway that have been underway for a while should have pretty decent winds as you continue to your destination, and those reports that we got this morning pretty much reflect that. As an example, we're looking at about southeast 15 for the Minerva Reef area. You're heading to Fiji, Vanuatu, and New Caledonia, and you're about 25 south, about the same wind strength and direction. Now tomorrow the winds start to back just a little bit. Still southeasterlies for the route to Tonga and Fiji, but easterlies for New Cal. So you can see the effect of that high starting to move east a bit. But we'll still have southeasterlies for the route to Tonga and Fiji, and then a little bit later easterlies for the New Caledonia area. Now, expect about the same thing for Wednesday. Now, by Thursday, as we predicted, a disturbance that shows up east of Sydney is going to push into the west side of the high. So we had at that time, or just before that time, a very nicely shaped high, but this disturbance or low is going to be jabbing it on its western side. It's going to bend those isobars, and when it does that, the winds as an example, Norfolk Island and also just south of New Caledonia are going to be northeasterly. Now those going to Vanuatu, Fiji, and Tonga may see east-southeast in the 15 knot range. So that change from southeast to these directions is all because of that disturbance pushing into those isobars. Pretty good sailing conditions though, going to every place but New Cal. There will be some cloud in and amongst that trip though, so expect evening squalls, particularly in the evening. And the reason for that, again, is because we get radiative cooling. The tops of the clouds cool off rather rapidly, and we have warmer air below, colder air above, and that air rises and creates bigger clouds. Bigger clouds mean squalls, and that typically is what we have when you're trying to get some sleep. Those of you that are going to New Caledonia, you may be thinking about routing yourselves in a bit of an arc. In other words, get east a little bit and then arc over toward New Cal as you get further north. And that way those northeasterlies won't be as difficult to deal with if you decided to do the rum line. Okay, by this coming Saturday, about 5 or so days from now, our high is going to move east to 172 west, and there will be a cold front. We predicted this a few days ago. Cold front's going to run from just west of New Zealand north to the Coral Sea. And for New Caledonia, expect still the northeast winds, east-northeast for Nisham, and east-southeast for, 20 south, at 20 south, east-southeast winds, south of Fiji, and east-southeast winds also for Tonga. Now, there should be fresh winds out of this. Expect 20 knots or so the wind will be coming up. Now, a full week from today, which is pretty far out, I know, but there is a very good chance of a cold front over New New Zealand extending to New Caledonia. This is the same cold front we talked about a minute ago. So it's slowly shifting to the east. It will keep going east. So it's going to take a while. So we're looking at about a week for it to get there. Still favorable winds up to that point, though, for Fiji and Tonga. So we have a window to get north at the moment for most areas, except for New Caledonia. And even that's doable if you do a little bit of maneuvering for that passage. Satellite imagery, furthermore, this morning and early this morning shows cloudy areas over Tonga. So you're going to have plenty of sun there, but there will be scattered showers as well. The winds for Tonga in general are going to be southeast about 10 to 15, and pretty much the same tomorrow. Fiji, cloud bands are evident as well. There are no troughs over Fiji at the moment, but cloud bands are passing over the group. So expect mostly fine weather conditions and the usual occasional showers that we get on the eastern and the central parts of the Big Islands. Those of you that are old hands for Fiji know this, and those that are going to be new to Fiji are going to find that out. It's very common. And the reason for that, of course, is the winds hit the large landmass, they slow down and they start to rise. Then they hit the mountainous parts of the Big Islands and they rise even faster, and that creates the higher cloud and showers. Vanuatu, the winds mostly southeast today, and relatively fresh. I go back to Fiji. I forgot to talk about the winds there. Today, southeast, probably about 10 to 15 for open water for most of Fiji. They're going to be rising a bit tomorrow, 15 to 20 knots. Wednesday, they'll be fresher yet, still southeast, 20 knots for most of the open water areas. Okay, to Vanuatu now. Vanuatu and New Cal as well can expect fresh winds, and I'd say east-southeast about 20 knots in the open waters. Tomorrow, east-southeast for Vanuatu, easterlies for New Cal and the lagoon, the outer lagoon, and those winds look like the 20-knot range. And as I said, in New Cal, in a couple more days, the winds will be northeasterly. So that's pretty much what I've got for today. Any questions or comments come down, and we'll be with you tomorrow otherwise. Here's Patricia.
No, I hear nobody calling, and we've just got a report in that looks beautiful in New Caledonia. Clear skies. Good morning, Alison and Jeff on Serrani. 1016 on the bar. 23 degrees already. East-northeast 5. Sounds pretty nice there. Actually, they've had some pretty good weather at the start of the season. All right, there's not much more from here. Just a reminder before you go, if you want to just download and have available that one page, if you go to www.ghradio.co.nz, go to the radio and comms page and download the one pager at the very start, which has got all of your radio frequencies. It would be really good, folks. One thing that does concern us, if something goes wrong, often there is only one person on board that knows how to use the radio properly. It's really important to make sure that everybody on board knows how to turn the radio on and get to an emergency frequency, and knows what emergency frequency would be appropriate for the time of the day or night that you are going to be using it. So just make sure that everybody, when you do your briefing of safety features on board the boat, make sure that people do know how to turn the radio on, get the emergency frequency, and they're very easy to come up with, particularly if you've got an ICOM. They're all preset. That one pager will give you all of those at the top and the bottom, plus all the working frequencies, plus all of the other contacts that you might want for customs or the RCC or the telephone numbers or whatever. But just download that page, put it in a plastic folder, and have it available near the radio, and make sure that everybody on board knows how to use the radio. What happens is often the captain is going to be busy dealing with whatever problem has come up, so we'll be relying on somebody else on board to do the communicating. So please do that, and actually pick up the microphone from time to time if you're one of the crew, and talk to us. We don't bite, and neither do Maritime Radio. So just try and make sure that you're familiar and comfortable with clicking on the microphone. It's just as easy as typing on a keyboard. Okay, well that's it for the end of today. Is there anybody else that wants anything? Otherwise we will see you all again tomorrow. I'll just pause for any calls.
Another adventure, Siri.
Oh, a fantastic signal. Yes, another adventure. And you're going pretty well, Frank, over?
Yes, everything's fine. I'm just calling because we're deciding whether to stop at Anatom or Port Resolution. That's kind of depending on whether we would expect it for Resolution on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We don't want the northeast that David is saying Newcal will have. Over.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, absolutely. Port Resolution, folks. That's on Tanna, and good reason for the question from Another Adventure. You really don't want northeast winds there. It's actually good to have northeast winds so that you don't get any soot on the boat, but it's not very good from a calm anchorage point of view. So if it was me, I would think of Venetian. But anyway, we'll have a look at the weather Friday, Saturday and Sunday for the bottom of New Caledonia. Hang on a minute. Here's David.
Well, I think you'll be all right for Port Resolution on Friday that you talked about. Actually, Anisha, starting from there, easterlies, there may be maybe just a touch of north in that east, but hardly anything there. I'd almost discount that. But 15 to 20 knots for Anisha, and then getting up to Port Resolution. It looks like it's going to be anywhere from east to east-southeast on Friday. So pretty good news there. We'll take a look at Saturday, and we'll go to lunchtime Saturday. And from what I can see, yeah, it stays pretty much easterly on Saturday as well. And we'll go one more day, Sunday, and we'll go to about lunch on Sunday as well. And that's when the winds start to get a little bit north of East Anisha, east-northeast. Port Resolution could be anywhere from east to east-northeast on Sunday. So Friday and Saturday, it's fine. East-northeast actually isn't too bad for the soot. That'll keep it blowing to the west. So regards to that, you should be in pretty good shape. Over.
Thanks for that, David. I think we'll stop at Anisha, but we might be meeting another boat. I'll have to talk to them. But thank you for the information, and we'll decide at a later time. Good to hear you guys again. Another adventure on the side.
Boy, what a fantastic signal you've got. There is absolutely no noise for some reason on my radio this morning, and you're booming. And so superb conditions. Gosh, I'd cross my fingers for it staying like this for the rest of the season. That would be nice. All right, yep. We'll see what happens, and of course we'll be updating as the week goes by anyway. So, so far you've got plenty of time to look at it. You're at 27 south at the moment. Okay, all right. Is there anybody else? There is somebody there, but very, very light. Could anybody pick up that boat? Could you call again, and we'll see if we've got a relay. Well, there was a couple there, but I've definitely got Shaynu. Good morning, Jonathan. Go ahead. Say again the last. Well, somebody's trying to get through. You're quite a little bit on the muffled side here as well. So somebody is trying to get through. I wonder if Frank, another adventure, you have coming in so well. Did you hear who that other boat was, Frank? Over.
I wasn't listening, but I'll try now. Try again. Trisha, there's two boats, and I can't think they're talking over each other. Could just one, please?
Nobody.
Roger that. I have Bright Angel. Go ahead, Bright Angel.
Oh, Bright Angel.
Okay, Bob, I have 2-3, and then I missed the rest of the latitude. I have your longitude at 15352 west. Give me latitude again, please. Over. 2358 south. Over.
Northeast tomorrow.
Okay. David, this is another venture calling for Bright Angel, who's looking for weather at what to expect at 2358 south and 15352 west. Over.
Yeah, got that, and he's just coming in, but not clear enough. It's just a little bit late for way over there. I'm going to pass the microphone because I don't like to give bad news, and I suspect he's going to have northeast tomorrow, so I'm passing the microphone.
Yeah, Bob, it will be northeast tomorrow, I believe. Fairly light, however, fairly light, about 10 knots, 15 knots like that. But you do have a front that's knocking on your door again. And that's caused by a low that's down there, quite a ways down there. I would say about 37 and maybe 160 west. It's sending up a front in an arc so that it's just behind you. It goes on from there up toward the Samoa area. Now, this is tomorrow at about this time. I'll look at one more day, and while I'm doing that, I'll give it back to Patricia.
All right, yes, it hasn't been a wonderful one, but at least you're going to a great spot. So while David is looking at that, I'll just say hello to Trevor and Jan, who are on streaming. Good morning. Clear and calm up there in the Bay of Islands, so it's a good day up there for those that are about to leave or trying to get organised to leave anyway. So yeah, good morning to David on Anahata. Lots of Davids around, aren't there? Yep. All right, back to David. No, he's still fossicking around for the trip straight through to Tahiti. Wouldn't that be nice? It's an exotic location, but not so exotic trying to get there at the moment. But here's David.
Bob, you may encounter that frontal band on Wednesday. The winds will slowly start to back from that northeast to maybe north-northeast. You'll know you're in the frontal band, obviously due to the cloud, but the winds will shift probably to the northwest. Behind the frontal band, they're westerlies. So that's the story for you, I'm afraid. You've been dogged with these things. I know that's a pain. So that's May 9th. This is Zulu time, 00 Zulu, May 9th. And we'll give you one more day. And bear with me. Yeah, you're going to be pretty much in the middle of the frontal band. It's rather diffuse. And unfortunately, all the ones that have been going your way have wound up doing that. So you may get some clear skies, but behind that is just a little bit more cloud as well. Sooner or later, the winds are going to start to go southeast again once this high that's pushing everything starts to go east a bit. But it's very, very slow going, I'm afraid. In fact, the frontal band itself, I'm going to give this to Patricia again. because I need 3 hands.
Yeah, it would be good. You know, there are some microphones that you can use your feet with, but the trouble is with both of us trying to use it, we would end up with a footsie battle with the microphone. So what we have to do here is pass it from one bench where I've got my computers and the radios and amplifier and so on, to David, who's at the desk with his other 2 computers. And we actually have got one computer that we were having trouble with has been updated. It's amazing, you know, when you update things that they request you do quite frequently. David is into the once a year type refresh software and things, but that's all been done now. And believe it or not, the computer is working much better. So he's just having a good study of things before we go back to Bright Angel. I know Linda will prefer to hear some more pleasant news. And here's David.
All right, Bob, it looks like, well, it all depends how fast you're going, I suppose, but I'll tell you where I think the tail end of the front is going to be come Saturday. It'll indicate to you how slow this thing is moving. So it's going to be approximately 25 south and 150 west. That's the tail end of it, and the winds are southeast at that point. But within the frontal band itself, because it's so diffuse, the winds could be coming from a variety of directions, primarily northeast, but it could be north-northeast, in between there, swinging back and forth. Now, the rain itself is not that severe. There are areas where there's quite a bit of precipitation, and then there's other areas where it's just a lot of cloud and not much in it. But the winds are on the nose for you trying to get to Tahiti. So unfortunately, that's the bad part of it. I guess the only good part is you won't get sunburnt, and the winds are really not all that strong. So you're just going to have to bear with it, I guess. I don't know if you're tacking or motoring or what you're doing, but that thing is slow, and like I say, it's going to be with you for most of the week. I know you don't want to hear that. There it is. Over to you.
Well, I always am amused when people thank David for bad news, but at least it's news, I suppose, and you know what's ahead. So just be patient there. Okay, I'm not sure whether there was another question or not. I'll just throw it open again. Was there somebody else trying to get through behind Bright Angel? No, I suspect that was Jonathan. Thank you for drawing our attention to that one. You could hear them up there. All right, folks, we'll be back again tomorrow, and we usually get here just a bit before, so any boats from the way east who need to get in first, please let me know at the start of the net, because otherwise the sun is a bit too high in the sky for you guys trying to get a signal to me at this time of the day. And don't forget that if you miss this net, you've got the one in an hour's time if you are ham radio licensed on 14315 2100 UTC. Okay, cheers everybody. Have a very pleasant day and good progress out there, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. This is Gulf Harbour Radio. We're clear and the frequency's all yours. Hold everything.